sure you have done online shopping. If you're buying an expensive item and want to make sure that you get the best value for money, there's something you wouldn't want to neglect: ratings and reviews. If you're like me, you would scan a lot of reviews, especially the top positive ones, and as many negative ones as well. You shortlist a few items, do comparisons, check average ratings, number of ratings, brand reputation, seller ratings, discounts, and whatnot. You may also check with some of your friends who already purchased this item. And finally, you take a leap of faith and go for it.
When do I know I'm Spider-Man? You won't. That's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith.
Like, what's up, danger? Like, what's up, danger?
You don't stop there sometimes. Once you start using this product, you might be giving your own rating and even post a review so that it can now benefit others. The point is, we human beings are wired to trust others and to be influenced by the learnings of others. Whether we are rich, poor, young, old, scientists, celebrities, whatever, we tend to take actions based on what we believe is true. Welcome back to faith-kalari podcast. I am Binu Ashokan Pararath from Bengaluru. I work as a data analytics professional and I am a Mallu or a Malayali from Kerala, which is also called God's own country. Last time we spoke about some of the deep fundamental questions which we need to address, without which we find ourselves lost. Now you might wonder, why is this name faith-kalari? And what is kalari? You might have heard of a martial art form called kalari paite. Kalari has two meanings. Kalari is a Malayalam word which refers to a gymnasium where students are given defense and combat training by a teacher who is usually called Gurukal. You should be knowing what Guru means. Gurukal is a plural form of Guru denoting reverence. There is another kalari, Eduthukalari, which is a type of old village school teaching language and other subjects, where you call the teacher as Ashan. So faith-kalari is a platform where I hope to offer some training in faith formation. I'll explain that term faith formation later. This should get you at least started in this journey. As I told you last time, I'm doing this just as a dad, not as a qualified scholar or expert. Here, I assume the role of an Ashan or a Gurukal initially, but eventually you should be equipped to find out better teachers for yourself and those who can provide advanced training if you choose to pursue further. I thought also that the context of kalari is apt because it is also a training for both combat and concepts. These ideas and concepts can be very powerful and transformative, which can serve great good and at times great evil as well. And we need to get trained to combat with bad ideas and firmly defend the good ones to save ourselves from tons of headaches and heartaches. Trust me, you might know yourself. Some of these ideas floating around these days are really bad, and we need to talk about them and have a clear viewpoint on them. If left unchecked, these bad ideas can ruin us and our loved ones. I'm hoping to discuss some of these ideas and offer my point of view. And as I keep saying, you are welcome to disagree with me. Now, let us come to the faith part in the name. What is the big deal about faith? Is it so important? And by faith, what do I mean? I mean it in a broader sense of the word. It includes our beliefs, religion, and related concepts about our natural and supernatural. In my experience, everyone holds on to some faiths or beliefs. Every major decision we make is profoundly influenced by what we believe. Even hardcore atheists or agnostics hold beliefs, and usually they don't have any problem admitting that. Let me clear up that. Remember how we started our studies in school. First, we learned our alphabets and numbers. Then words, sentences, simple mathematical operations, science, social studies, and so on. We were expected to believe that teachers were giving the right instructions. Now, some of us must have struggled in our studies, but we never raised concerns that textbooks were wrong. There is a hierarchy of trust which is at play here. We trusted our parents. Our parents trained us to trust teachers. Teachers believed that the people who prepared the textbooks such as NCERT or ICSE board must have done their due diligence and got things right. Some learner teachers might be able to point out mistakes, but if they are serious mistakes, then the authorities would correct them as soon as possible. And there is a well-defined system built for this where at multiple levels these mistakes can be identified and corrected. A great majority of people are willing to accept scientific theories or history without actually studying the actual research papers. Yet, most of the time they get the right knowledge from these textbooks, or right as per the prevailing understanding. New discoveries may prove that the prevailing understanding is wrong, and if so, the textbooks would get revised eventually. The point is, we put our faith in our educational system to a great extent. Now, similarly, we use food items from the market in good faith that they are not poisonous. We may suspect minor adulteration depending on the country you live in, but still believe that it is not done to a very harmful extent. Same way, we consult doctors and follow their prescriptions in good faith. And we buy medicines from pharmacy in good faith that they are giving the correct variant of the medicine as prescribed by the doctor. Thus, we place our faith in the Food and Drug Administration system to a great extent. My point is, we all believe a lot. We put faith in things a lot, and we act based on what we believe. Now imagine, what if the trust is broken? What to do? In India, some right-wing groups question the authenticity of the history taught in our schools and educational institutions. Now, there could be three types of responses to this. One, don't care or reject these claims outright and continue to follow the current storyline. Second one, believe their narrative blindly and then distrust the books, but now you are shifting to a new belief. And the third one, you are not sure and you want to do a research yourself and you arrive at a new conclusion which may be a balanced version. And here too, this will now form the new basis of your belief. I like the third approach. When there are conflicting beliefs or narratives and you don't want to go wrong in a specific decision in that area, you should put some effort into studying and then form your belief and also form your faith. This is what I call faith formation, which is the objective of this podcast. And therefore, we'll talk about this further in our upcoming Kalari sessions. I hinted at beliefs held by atheists earlier. When someone states his or her atheistic or agnostic position, we need to understand what they mean. It could mean any of the following, and it could be moral. There is no God. Though there is no reference to one's belief, it actually implies that I do not believe that I do not doubt that there is no God. Second one, I do not believe that there is a God. And the third one, I believe that there is no God. Notice the difference between this and the previous. I do not know if there is a God. I appreciate the admission of ignorance. Fifth one, I do not believe in the existence of God. But even if he exists, we will not be able to know him. Not sure what prompted this. Failed experiments maybe. Sixth one, I do not believe in the existence of God. But even if he exists, I do not think he is an all-powerful, loving, just, wise God. Maybe due to the problem of evil in the world that might be prompting this kind of a point of view. Seventh one, I can explain the complexity of this universe or multiverse and the life within it without any reference to God. And the assumption is that God was in the picture only to explain the unexplainable. All religions, eighth one, all religions make absurd claims. Hence, their versions of God are not believable. Fair. The ninth one, I have reasonable evidence to conclude that there is no God. I find this position more respectable because they are pointing to some data and facts. There could be more claims, but if you carefully examine all these, each one of these arises from a corresponding belief. not absolute surety. They could be backed by some data presented, but nevertheless, they are all beliefs. I mentioned in the beginning about how trust works when you put ratings on your products when you purchase. I request you to like and share this video if you find this useful. Use the comment box to share your feedbacks and also to subscribe the channel. Why? Because other people trust your votes and ratings. Being in data analytics industry, I can confidently say that even platforms like YouTube and Facebook trust your actions, and that's how they customize your feed to give you the kind of contents you prefer with a surprisingly good accuracy. And again, I trust your feedbacks, and you can trust that your feedbacks count. When I said atheists hold on to their beliefs, I did not mean to insult or mock them. I didn't say that their beliefs are wrong. As a believer, I do not consider it insulting at all to admit that I myself hold on to beliefs. On the contrary, I also hold that our beliefs should be backed by reliable data as per the hierarchy of trust I mentioned earlier. Atheism and theism are totally different worldviews. And you should also know that within these worldviews, there are people at various levels. Something that I hold reliable might not be so for somebody with an atheistic view or even within a different variant of theism. We'll examine atheism and theism in our upcoming Kalari episodes. Thanks a lot for watching till the end, and God bless you.